The Shire, located in the realm of Arda, was settled by hobbits in the year 1601 in the Third Age. The hobbits, who had originally lived in the Vale of Anduin, had migrated west over the Misty Mountains. It has been speculated that the hobbits had originally moved west to escape the evils of Mirkwood and the trouble caused by the Easterlings. King Arda II from Fornos granted the hobbits official permission to settle in the Shire, as it was currently uninhabited, and was instead used as the king's hunting grounds. Due to this, the hobbits saw themselves as subjects of the king and therefore sent support troops during the war against the Witch King. However, after the fall of Arda, the Shire remained an independent nation. The Shire was initially settled by two brothers known as Marco and Blanco. From this point on, the hobbits used their own time system known as Shire Reckoning, in which Marco and Blanco's arrival was year 1. Originally, the Shire was divided into 4 farthings known as the West Farthing, the North Farthing, the East Farthing, and the South Farthing. Within these farthings were unofficial smaller family lands, such as Tuckborough and Bag End. A hobbit's last name would usually indicate where they came from. For example, Frodo Baggins was from Bag End, and Peregrine Took was from Tuckborough, respectively. The individual towns were governed by their own mayors, and the 4 farthings in the Shire were ruled over by the Thane, who was a military commander, whilst Buckland, an independent area up until the 4th Age, was ruled by the Master. The Shire usually stayed free from attackers, as it offered no strategic importance, and the hobbits were seen as little threat. However, the Shire was still guarded by patrolling rangers, which were often forgotten about by the hobbits. The only ever trespassers were dwarves making their way from Ered Luin along the Great Road, and rarely elves on their way to the Grey Havens, as well as 9 ringwraiths in the year 1419 in Shire Reckoning. As well as this patrolling rangers, the hobbits had their own defence force known as the Sheriffs. These would usually stop lawbreakers and defend against attacking beasts such as wolves. There were only 2 battles ever to take place in the Shire. The first was known as the Battle of Greenfields, in which the Shire was invaded by a large force of goblins led by their chieftain Golfinball. Although the hobbits were much smaller in size, they still dominated the battlefield. One exceptionally large hobbit, known as Bandobras Took, was the largest hobbit on record up until Merry, Brandybuck, and Peregrine Took. Bandobras swung at Golfinball with his club and took the goblin's head clean off, which then flew several metres and landed in a rabbit hole. This was said to be the origin of golf. This left the goblins in shock, and the hobbits were able to win the battle. The second battle in the Shire was known as the Battle of Bywater, in which Saruman commanded a group of ruffians from Bree to attack the Shire. A group of 20 came to a rebel hobbit camp filled with hobbits much smaller than those of the Shire and allied with them. The total strength of the force was 100. However, upon discovering the inevitable attack, Merry used the Horn of Rohan to blow the Horn of Buckland. At this point, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin were able to rally a total of 310 hobbits. Using a bow, Merry was able to slay the lead, and the battle was won with 19 hobbit casualties and 70 ruffian casualties. The next day, the 4 hobbit commanders and their followers marched to Hobbiton, where they found Saruman and Wormtongue. Frodo exiled Saruman from the Shire, but Wormtongue killed Saruman by slitting his throat, and Wormtongue was immediately shot at and killed by 3 arrows. In the 4th Age, after Aragorn's rise to king, the Shire became a protected enclave in the reunited kingdom. As well as this, King Aragorn, also known as King Elessar, issued an order that forbade the entrance of full-sized men into the Shire. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm using some slightly different software, so I think the audio will be better than it has been previously. However, I've had to do this completely without stopping because I'm using Sound Recorder, which is built into Windows and it doesn't have a pause option. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll speak to you guys later. See ya. Oh, and don't forget to leave suggestions for future videos. See ya.